Hi lovers, today I'm going to be talking about using sex as a weapon in a relationship. And if you are not a victim, then you are probably the culprit. So I'm sure you don't want to miss this. You're welcome to Eve's Desire by Tiwa Says, and I am your pleasure coach. Let's get into the video. Okay, so like I said, we are talking about using sex as a weapon in a relationship. And take a breath and think about this because, a lot of people are on this table. A lot of people, consciously or unconsciously, people are using sex as a weapon in a relationship. And like I said earlier, if you are not the victim, you are the culprit. So whichever way, it concerns everybody. So you want to listen very carefully. So how do you know that you are either that sex is being used as a weapon, against you in a relationship, or like sex as a weapon is just happening in a relationship, in your relationship, whether towards you or whether you are even the one who is using it as a weapon? Okay, so the first sign is that you deny your partner sex, or your partner denies you sex if they don't have their way, like they don't get what they want, you know they will deny you sex, whether overtly or covertly, somehow. That's when, and sometimes these things may not be directly like, okay, I'm not doing because I didn't like what you did the other time. No, it might not be that. It might just be like, oh, I have a headache. Oh, I don't feel too good. And that is being passive aggressive. Being passive aggressive means that you are not direct. Maybe you are angry over something, you're angry about something, but you are not being direct. You are not facing the person directly that I'm angry with you. What do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. No, but your actions are saying everything. Your actions are showing that you are not happy with the person. Maybe ordinarily, you're chatty, you'd have been your chatty self, but then you will not be chatty, or the person talks to you and you respond in a certain way different from the way you would have responded, or the person is asking you to do something and then you are not obliging, and you are not saying it like, I don't want to do, or that kind of thing that would make it obvious, but like, I don't feel like, or you are just giving attitude. When they say you are giving attitude, that means you are being passive aggressive. So it is also possible for you to be doing that when you are using sex as a weapon. So generally, like I said, if your partner has done something to you that you didn't like, or you did something, or it could be but your partner did something you don't like, or you did something to your partner that your partner didn't like, and then your partner, because of that, does not consent to sex, like, oh, they turn their back, I'm not in the mood today, or because you are mad. Okay, like, because it's the same thing. Like, if your partner does something to you that you don't like, and then you are withholding sex, or you are angry over something, and then you are withholding sex, especially when you already have a routine. Maybe you are one of those people who have sex every day, that every night sex must happen, and then because you are angry with your partner, you just decide to turn your back. Today you just turn your back, and or like some women do, like I've been told, that's when you now go and wear tights. You wear tights, you wear wear joggers, wear long trousers, wear t-shirt, wear bra, wear everything to sleep. What happened? Or wear jeans to sleep. That's being passive aggressive. That's when you do all those things. When ordinarily maybe you sleep naked, or you just wear a lingerie, or all those things. But because tonight you are not in the mood, you don't want to, you are just being, no, I don't want. You now go and wear all the clothes in the world, and then you now turn the other way, so that your partner, in fact, for him to even initiate, going to be afraid. So he will just rather just leave you that, this person is not in the mood today. So that's how you know. And then another way to know if you are weaponizing sex is, if you are teasing, you are flirting, but you are not coming through. What does that mean? Maybe during the day, you've been teasing your partner, or you've been sending text messages, or you've been sending, flirty text messages, or you've just been touching them, or being, just naughty. Especially maybe you're outside at a party, or you're with friends, and then you're overly touching and all that. But when you now get home, you just switch. You just switch the channel. Or when the man that is now hopeful that okay, well, something's happening, blah blah blah. Like I said, this thing, it doesn't have to be you. It could be that it's your partner that is doing it too. So whether you are the victim or the culprit, just pick your own from all these things I'm saying. You are being flirty, or you are being naughty, and then when it's time to now remove remove the cloth and jump on the bed, you now be doing, no, I don't feel like, oh no, I mean, why you put the person in the mood, or you told somebody that okay, I'm not going to give you that because you didn't help me wash plates. The house is dirty, you didn't help me cook. I called you to come and help me cut tomatoes, or I called you to come and help me cut okra. You didn't answer me. So because of that, me too, I'm having a date tonight. You are basically weaponizing sex. It is not supposed to be, because what's the idea of sex in the first place? Is you're having sex with this person because you care about this person, you are in a loving relationship, and you want this person, you both desire each other. That is the way it's supposed to be. That is why you're having sex. But when it now becomes, I told you to buy me that shoe, you didn't buy me, so I'm denying you sex. That's just, it's being transactional. And then if you are in a relationship, although these days they say relationships, everything is transactional these days, but it should not be. So if this is happening, you know that whether consciously or unconsciously, you are weaponizing sex in your relationship, and it is not supposed to be, and it has its effects on a relationship. So I'm going to be telling you some of the effects that it has on the relationship. To start with, your partner may begin to lose interest in sex with you, because if you now realize that this one now, okay, maybe he already knows that, okay, when we have an argument now, and then it's time for sex, you deny me. Or when you say, oh, help me do this thing, and then you come back and you see that, oh, he didn't help you do it, that means no sex for me tonight. After a while, the person begins to get used to it, and then the person just loses interest after a while, and then sex is just not the same. And then that's when people like that start looking outside. So when your man start looking outside, or your woman start looking outside, you need to check all these things. If you've been weaponizing sex, or you've been using sex as a power tool for you, that, okay, this is my power, I'm holding it. If you don't do this for me, I don't give it to you. You need to check that. Sex begins to lose its appeal. Like I said, your partner will begin to lose interest, and sex will begin to lose its appeal. And then the funniest thing is that you are denying yourself. You are using it against yourself. As you are saying, you are not giving your partner. You are not just denying your partner, you are denying yourself as well. Because, Abi, if you don't give it to your partner, it's your partner you want to have sex with. And then if you are saying that you are not going to have sex with your partner, it means you are not going to have sex as well. Except if you are one of those people that go to do it outside. There's this thing that they say, this African proverb, that a child that says the mother will not sleep, you self, you not go sleep now. So we are both not sleeping. So as you are denying your partner, you are denying yourself. So there's no how you think you are doing something for your partner, doing something bad for your partner, but you are also doing that for yourself as well. And then it also affects the dynamics of the relationship. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are one of those people who have a routine for sex, that it may not be a routine, it may just be a habit, but that you have gotten accustomed to, like you have sex every day, which is very healthy. If you're one of those, could just keep it up. You have sex every day. And then, because of this, you just started because you didn't do this for me, or you didn't do that for me, or kiniko, and then you don't have sex. So when you keep doing that over time, it means you are beginning to change the dynamics of the relationship. That means that because of your weaponizing sex, you are not having the sex that you normally have every day. You are not having it every day again. And that will begin to affect the relationship over time. There's no how. Once you start weaponizing sex, it will affect the relationship. Because if sex is not just for the pleasure, it also helps partners to bond. So when you start having it less, it begins to affect your bonding. You begin to create that distance, that gap. And then, of course, when there's distance, when there's gap, other things, like there's no vacuum in life, other things will begin to fill that place, or other people. It could be other people, it could be other things, and it will begin to create cracks in the relationship. So you may want to check that as well. Okay, so weaponizing sex. does not only change the dynamics of the relationship, but it also sends a message. And in this case, it's the wrong message. Well, I don't want to say it's right, because I'm sure you don't want your partner to philander, because that's the message it sends. When you're telling me that, oh, you're not going to have sex with me, or we're not going to have sex if I'm not good, if I'm not being a good boy or a good girl, or if I'm not doing what you want or what you don't like, then it means that I'll start looking for it outside, because sex with you is not assured. If it's not your way, then we're not going to be having sex. If things are not going your way, then sex is not going to happen. Then because this is a need, like I've said to a lot of people, and I've said it on my video, sex is a need. It's part of is a human need. Just like you are hungry, just like the need for shelter, clothing, sex is on that hierarchy. So it is a need. It is a natural human need. So it's not that if you want to have sex or you like to have sex, it means that you're a bad person, you're promiscuous. No, no, no. It's a human need. And then we have the urge in different degrees. We are all different people. So some people may like to eat indomie, and some people may like to eat amala. So it's just like that. So my appetite for sex may be more than yours, but it does not mean that I'm different from you or I'm from Mars. We are all the same people. We just have different appetites. So if you are telling your partner, if you are giving your partner the signal that, oh, sex with me is not assured all of the time, then the person is going to look outside. There's no way. There's no speaking tongues or prayer or whatever you are going to do about this that is going to stop this, because you have already created the crack. Like I said, you've already left a loophole, you've already caused the distance. So if you are not going to mend it, if you are not going to be having sex, this person needs sex. So if you are not going to be giving me sex, then I need to have it elsewhere. Another downside of weaponizing sex is that you don't face the real issue. If you say, okay, because you did this to me, because you did that to me, we're not going to have sex, you are not facing the real issue. The real issue is not the sex. So if you say you are not having sex, that's not the real issue. Why don't you face the real issue? The real issues here. Have the sex. There should not, you shouldn't be withholding this. Although I know that some of these things is easier said than done, because some of us are, emotionally driven, and then we tie our emotions to the sex most of the time, especially if you are with a long-term partner, marriage, or even a committed relationship. Your emotions are tied to having sex. So sometimes when something goes wrong, it's not easy to just allow the person in, because you're upset and all that. And that is where communication comes in. That is why you need to communicate. You need to put your cards on the table. You need to settle every form of misunderstanding before it blooms, before it grows and becomes something else. So if you are just denying the person sex, oh, because you offended me, because you did this, because you look at another person, or because you didn't do this, I'm going to deny you sex. Sex is not the issue. You are not facing the real issue. So it is better for you to face the real issues and not use sex as what to hold on to. And in this situation, it may lead to a fight. If you are weaponizing sex, it may lead to a fight. It may lead to other things, other misunderstandings that will now grow and get out of proportion. So if somebody offends you, or your partner does something you don't like, or you are generally dissatisfied about something in the relationship, talk about it. Call your partner, sit down and talk like two adults, and be open and honest about the situation, and don't let it affect your sexual life, because when it begins to affect your sexual life, then the end is is knocking at the door. Okay, so I'm sure that you must have identified yourself in all these things that I've said. There's no how. There's no saint here. I believe that everybody is on this table. It's just that, some people's table are higher than others, So if you have realized some of these things that I've talked about, like I said consciously or unconsciously. Sometimes we do it unconsciously. And sometimes it's a function of our mindset, I think that, most females, most women, I don't know, maybe it's a social orientation thing, social education, or a background, depending on where you are coming from. But in some cases, women they've grown up to see sex as a tool, that sex, that's your tool, that's your power against the man. So you own the power, and you can give it to him and withhold it anytime you want it. And that is not supposed to be. Sex should not be your power, because you are both enjoying the sex. You are both having the sex. Like I said, if you are denying him, you are denying yourself. So there's no power there. And even the man, you should not see sex as power that, okay, I will not give it to her. Maybe I know she likes it, so I will not give it to her. It should not be like that, because if you don't give it to her, she will go and get it where they will give it to her. And if you don't give it to your man too, there are lots of women out there who are going to give it freely, without hassle, without without strings attached. So change your mindset. Sex is not power. It's not your power. It's not his power. It is something that you both come together to do as a reason, because you care about each other, you are in a loving relationship, and you desire each other. So it is something that you do to bond, and to strengthen your relationship, and for pleasure, especially for pleasure. So don't deny anybody pleasure. Don't say, okay, this is my power, I'm not going to give him tonight, or I'm not going to do this. And no. And then if there's a problem, solve the problem. I've said it before. If there are any issues in the relationship, talk to your partner, find ways around it to resolve the issues. Don't withhold, and don't use sex and say, okay. And then if it is more complicated, make sure maybe you need to see a therapist. I know people in this part of the world don't like to go and see therapists. They feel like, okay, what do you mean? Something must be fundamentally wrong to go to. No, everybody needs a therapist once in a while. In fact, if we had that habit, maybe we'll be having less problems in our relationships in this part of the world. And even, yes, in our relationships, not just love or romantic relationships, even family relationships, work relationships. If we go for therapy, because I believe that everyone needs some form of therapy or the other. In fact, as a reason that you are living in Nigeria and that you are a Nigerian, and then you are an African, and some cultures and things that you have gone through, you need therapy. You need therapy to unlearn, relearn, so to get some things out of your mind and then to learn new things. So if the issues are deep, you may need a therapist. And then if you are falling out of love, then you need to be intentional about getting back together. You need to go back to the drawing board. Where did you start from? Where did you get it? Where have you gotten it wrong? What are the things that you used to do that you are not putting effort into it now? Because I know that a lot of people in relationships, especially the men, you feel like, okay, when I've gotten this woman, this woman is mine. Some, not even marriages, not even marriages alone. Some people who are in committed relationships, they just relax. Because when they know that, okay, this is my babe, you just relax. And it's not supposed to be. You are supposed to be courting your woman daily, because after a while, she might just feel like a furniture. She might feel like, oh, she's just there. You don't really care. And a woman needs reassurance all the time. You need to let your woman know, okay, I care about you. I love you. I'm still in this. I want you. I desire you. You are still all I'm thinking about. You are still all I'm seeing, and all that. Women need to be courted every day. So you don't just relax. And the same goes for the men. Men too want to feel appreciated and loved. So you have to be intentional in your relationships, and then go back to the things that used to matter to you, and then build that bond. And I'm sure that, the sex will be better. So sex should never, ever, ever be a weapon. It should not be something that, okay, you are not happy. Because once sex leaves a relationship, the thing that is remaining is not plenty. It's not plenty at all, because sex really holds a relationship together. And as much as it holds a relationship together, it does not mean that it can solve every problem, that once you have sex, that's the end. No, it's not every problem that sex can solve. And there are some problems that even if you are having regular sex, there are some fundamental problems that will still be there if they are there, except you seek a solution, outside of the relationship. Okay, so work on your relationship. This is for the purpose of you working on your relationship. And I'm sure that, like I said, you've identified where you've gone wrong or where your partner has gone wrong. So this is the time, this is your cue to have a conversation and stop making sex a weapon. So don't enjoy this video alone. Make sure you share. After you have liked, of course, make sure you share this video to the people, to your friends, to your family, and to all the people that you think. In fact, share it to everybody, because I think everybody needs to know this. Well, everybody who is an adult and who is having sex and who is in a relationship and who is married. So basically almost everybody. So share it, and also subscribe so you get notifications when I come out with new videos, when I come out with new tips. And follow us on all our social media handles there in our bio. Just look at our bio, you see all our handles. Just follow us. and you keep getting fresh news and tips. I'll see you next time.